Hey everyone, I'm so excited. We are just about to get into an interview here with Dante Barrett, the podcaster of Tap In Podcast. Dante, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what they're going to hear coming up?
Hey Carrie, it's Dante, aka Jerome Rogan, and what we're going to be talking about is the art of podcasting. What is the format of podcasting and how you make money in podcasting? As well, we're going to be talking about my background in comedy and how I got started and a bunch of other fun stuff. So make sure you guys stay tuned.
So awesome. I cannot wait. Everybody, let's go talk to Dante. Welcome to the Dallas Culture Club podcast. For those who seek to create meaningful connections with other purpose-driven locals in a more authentic relationship with yourself. I'm your host, Carrie Horn, founder of Passion Dallas Media. And through these talks with my incredible guests and my own life experiences, I'm going to show you that the secret to building a more connected and joyful life is through your conversations and cultural experiences. Come on, let's dive in. Hey Dallas, we are so excited to be with you today for episode 1, the first one of season 1 of the Dallas Culture Club podcast. Here, you're going to have the opportunity to hear the stories of local creative leaders who are shaping the culture of our city. And today, to start off the series, we have a very special guest. Dante Barrett is a king of connection, a stand-up comedian turned professional podcaster on his show, Tap In Podcast. Dante is sharing the stories of interesting people and loving every minute of his craft. Without further ado, let's listen in to my awesome conversation with the talented Dante Barrett. What is it for you? Why podcasting? And how did you come to it?
So, why podcasting? I told my wife this the other day. The one thing that I loved about TV sitcoms is I get to see everybody's life happening all at one time. The thing that sucks about real life is I only get to see what's going on in my life.
Oh. With
podcasting, I get a glimpse of what's happening with you and what your perspective is on the world, and how do you muster up strength to just do things, and I pull from people, and so I like to when I come in contact with them or ask them questions, I get a little glimpse in their mindset and how they think and why they chose to do this and why they chose to do that. So if I'm experiencing something similar or going through something similar, I can pull from that and you know what? They said this worked for them. Let me try that. And then I go from there and try to figure it out. But it's something about being able to it's almost like I don't know. It's almost like a relationship when I'm talking to somebody in the podcasting. It's like we're having a relationship 100%. Within that moment, and then really just getting to understand their mindset and why they do this. Why did you do that? Okay. So when that happened, you did this. Why? What were you up against? What made you do that? And then from there, that just probably takes them to, I don't know where. You know what I mean? Wherever their mindset was, wherever they start thinking. And then you go down this long, deep road about what happened to them as a kid. And it just opens up so many different things. And it's just like, man, okay, I understand that. But podcasting, why podcasting? I mean, I don't know any other form. I mean, I used to do stand-up. I did stand-up for 15 years, and that was something similar, but it was all jokes. It was all me making you laugh, and I was the silly guy, and I wanted to still be silly, have my personality, but at the same time, I wanted to have deeper level conversations or deeper things, and podcasting is just the best part for me because I can still throw in my jokes, have a little comic relief, and then still go into some deep conversation.
I always thought that of any job out there, being a stand-up comedian has got to be the most difficult.
It is.
I really believe that, because I can't even imagine the intensity of the pressure. Look, we all have good days and we have bad days. We have days we're funnier than we are others. I mean, I'm not a funny person to begin with, but there are days where I might, be more light and airy, and days where I'm serious. And you've got to be on for people all the time. And they're looking at you to be you have to make my day better. You have to how did you handle that stress?
Man, sometimes it got overwhelming, because at times I didn't want to be funny. I didn't want to. And I think that's what kind of drove me away from doing it, because it was a lot of times where I should have been on, and I knew if I would have been on, I probably would have got an opportunity, but I just didn't feel it. I just wanted to really have a conversation, and it drove me nuts that I always had to be that. And it's
very one-sided, right?
Yeah.
Because they're all looking at you from the end, and it's okay, make me laugh. And you've got to stand up there and read the crowd and pivot and do all the things, and it's all eyes on you.
So when it comes to performing like that, that was fun.
Okay.
That's not my issue. But when it comes to when you're not on stage and you walk in a room and everyone knows you're a comedian, it's hey, make us laugh. We know that you're a comedian. And in those moments, that's when it becomes I don't feel like doing the whole monkey dancing thing and laughing. I just want to be a fly on the wall, because 9 times out of 10, what I'm going to do is just be observing in the room, take something that happened in the room, and then take it on stage.
Got that.
But I didn't like all the time walking into a room and having to be on or having to be liked and joked. And I didn't like it. I really didn't. And I know a couple of times that I know for sure if I would have been on, that I would have gotten opportunities. And it was sometimes when I wasn't even aware that I was on, and everybody in the room just loved me. And it was just, and I think a lot of times I'm always in my head thinking. I'm always in my head, and I'm never really in the moment. And that's where I find where my disconnect is sometimes. Instead of always overthinking or just, okay, if I do this, then this will happen, then this and that. And while I'm thinking all this, life is happening all around me, and I'm not even in the moment to even embrace what somebody comes in the room or even having a conversation, because I'm too much in my head. So now I try to be more just in the moment, just being here with the person or whoever that's in front of me, just being here and not overthinking anything and just enjoying this moment. And then later on, when the moment is gone, then I'll go, oh, okay, yeah, that was a cool moment. You know what I mean?
I totally just resonated with what you said. And I thought about, because that is what it is. See, we've got these earphones on, and so the sound dissipates around us. Mm-hmm. The sound of our voice is all we hear. And so for people like us, because that's who I am too, just like that, who don't have the ability to just be, we have it's this calming, it's like this calming force. Mm-hmm. Pharrell once said on Oprah that he oftentimes writes his songs, they come to him in the shower. And it's that sensory deprivation. And I've always I remember him saying that, and he's such a master. And I remember thinking that resonates with me. I think in the shower, that's what podcasting is sort of like, right?
Yes.
Here we are.
Yes.
My phone's probably blowing up. I'm sure it is. It always is, but it doesn't matter because we're here and we just get to be.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. What have you learned about people through this experience? And is there one thing that stands out in your mind about people in general, a general statement that you've learned, or is it, have you even thought about it from that perspective before?
No, I haven't, to answer your question. But what I have seen and learned from different people is everyone has struggles and everyone has a system in what they deal with to get over that. And I just love seeing strength in people. I love to see people just, I think that's why movies are so great, but to just find something inside of you that you just push through. And that's what I love to see and hear, that how do people deal with certain situations. Yeah, I think that's what I've seen and heard from a lot of different people. And it could be different struggles. It could be mentally, it could be emotionally, it could be physically, but people all have different struggles, and the way they go about getting out of those is just fascinating to see and hear. Because a lot of people deal with emotional stress and with drugs and different mechanisms to not deal with what's in front of them. But some people just have that internal strength that I just like. I love that.
That fight.
Yeah.
That fire.
Yeah, I love that. I love to see that and to hear, like, okay, so what happened? What made you go and do that? And it's just like, man, yeah. That's the one thing that I could say that I've realized or seen. And maybe that's my angle. That's maybe my angle, what I'm looking for. Yeah. Because I know I had, as a kid, I had a lot of self-doubt. I had a lot of self-doubt about my abilities, just my self-worth. If am I even worthy to do that, or can I even do that? And not until like my adult years where I really had to muster up strength to be like, oh yeah, I deserve this. I'm going after it. This is what I want. This is what I'm going after. And I'm not going to ask permission. I'm not going to get validation from anybody. The validation starts here and here. And then once I do that, I'm just going to go for it. And not go for it timidly, not go for it like, hey, well, maybe no. I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to make my claim to the universe. Hey, this is what I want. This is what I'm going after, and just let the chips fall where they may. And I could say in my adult life, it's been working out. Once I make that claim to myself, everything, the universe just opens up to me.
Yeah. Because
I'm not going into it scared or nervous or timid. It's just, what do I want? And I'm just going to go after that. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I just put the action in motion. And yeah, things have just been happening, whether I acknowledge them in the moment, but things are just opening up and just happening. And I don't even know how. I don't even know how it's coming or why they're coming, but I just know where my goal is and what I wanted to do. I'm really freaking just blessed when at the end of the day, man. I don't even, because here's my thing. As a child, I fought with this, my father not being there, right? And so I think that's where, I think as a young boy, your father gives you, what is it? He gives you, I don't know, machismo. I don't know.
Yeah.
He gives you that kind of confidence in yourself, or he builds you up like that. And so once you get that validation from an older male figure in your life, then you can kind of use things that he's taught you through that. And I didn't have that. And so now that I've just figured out and tapped into different other father figures or different other men that I look at, like, yeah, I like that about that person. I'm going to use that into my own little piece of armor to continue on going. And I just love it. I just love the person who I am today. Yeah.
I mean, like, I hope that people are listening to that, because that is the life work, right? I mean, above and beyond everything else, and for people that believe in God or something spiritual or whatever it is, of course, that's the number one relationship. But really, we're here to learn about who we are so we can be our best and contribute to the world. You come with an open heart. That's what you bring. I knew that the minute I met you. It's obvious. So things follow people like that because the world is open up to anybody that's open to receive and give their love and be who they are and be proud of who they are. You're not sitting there going, look at me, aren't I something? It's, hey, I've gotten to a point that I'm proud of me and I enjoy who I am. And that is what it's for.
Yeah.
All of this, all this nonsense we go through and everything else so that we can give back, in my opinion, at least, that we can give back to the world, to the people that are around us, to our children, to our wives, to our husbands, that we can give back the best of who we are because we are our best. We're not our best when we don't feel good about ourselves. Right? I mean, and I don't know, it's like, I don't know where like we learned along the way that we're not allowed to like ourselves. It's almost like, it's almost like
taboo. Yeah. If you have confidence in yourself. Yeah. I don't know where that, and I think I've heard this one guy, I forget his name, that he said, people always tell you to be humble yourself. And it's like, why do they want you to be humble?
Right.
Because it makes them uncomfortable of how confident you are. And I'm like, yeah, why do people always tell you to be humble? That's humble is for self. You have to be like, you know what? I'm proud of this moment, and it's okay to celebrate me. It's okay to be confident in me, in myself. But I don't know why that's taboo to have confidence and be just loud and proud and just. I think because a lot of people are, like I said, dealing with a lot of mental things, and it just. Your confidence makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of people who were raised similarly to you that just couldn't get over it for whatever reason. They just couldn't get over it. And I don't know. Is that an inner strength? Is that that you had a really great mother on the other end? I don't know. I don't know her. I've often wondered that, like, why do some people come from exactly the same circumstances and wind up so different, like that nurture versus nature versus, is there that inner strength that they had? But you said something that I heard loud and proud that I think is really important to bring back, which is you talked about how grateful you were first and foremost. And so, we talk about being humble, and that's wonderful. And that's great. But you didn't say, I'm all that in a bag of chips. You said, I like who I've become. And you first said, and I'm grateful. That to me is the whole piece and package. I think there's a difference between arrogance and liking who you are and being confident or wanting to give back and contribute to the world because you feel good in your own skin than being arrogant. Arrogance is not really liking yourself. That's a little act that we put on. So I do think there's that too. But I wonder, like, was there somebody in your life that helped you kind of see the light? Or when was it that you figured out that, hey, I can give up this feeling of not feeling good about myself and this loss of my father and start to work towards confidence and learning how to be a man through other people? Was there a man? Was there somebody that came in? Or
I don't think it was one person. I think it's a bunch of different people that I've met on my journey, from people like Johnny Collins, people like Dante Johnson, some of my friends that had fathers, just different things that I've just, because I'm very observant. And I guess that's the comedic side of me, to be very observant, to watch everything, to see how everything goes. And I think it was just being in different environments and seeing who got the most respect, who had the eyes on them, what kind of person who I wanted to be, and then just kind of emulating little pieces of different people throughout my journey. And people like Will Smith, like people like him. Who else? Man. It's different people throughout my journey. I'm trying to think of some good ones. It also some bad ones too.
Yeah.
There's also some bad ones. I had a coach named Rock Johnson. He was just an a-hole. He was, but he. I had him on my show just recently too.
I was gonna say, how do we get him to watch?
And he man, just at the time as a kid, you don't understand like some of the things that he's going through. But I took pieces of him as well. Like at some point, he commanded the room. When anytime he walked in a room, people just I mean, like a magnet to him. But he was also loving, you know what I mean? He took care of like 12 of us basketball players at the time, and he didn't owe us anything. But that I just loved him for that. To answer your question, it was a bunch of different men throughout the thing. And my mom always, as a kid, made sure that she put me around solid men that had good character, and that she knew that I was going to be okay with them. And I just picked up little things on my way. And then at some point, I just told myself, like, why am I asking for permission? Why am I asking for permission? And something that Will Smith said, he said that, why do you look for other people to give you the okay? Everybody's trying to figure this out. Everybody is trying to figure out. So they don't have the answers. They only going to speak off their experience, because that's the only thing that we have is our experiences. But their experience is not going to be your experience. So if you go and ask for permission, or you get validation from them, or they say, hey, this is how you do this, that may not be the same road that you take. Because he can, and he gave example. He's like, yeah, I could tell you how to become a movie star. I could tell you how I did it. But somebody like Martin Lawrence, somebody like Denzel Washington, they have a totally different journey. So their way is going to be totally different. 100%. So who's wrong? And then I was just like, you know what? It makes perfect sense. I just got to go out there and walk my own journey and make my own experiences. And then once I get to the other side, then I can tell somebody, hey, this is what I did. Mm. And it may be wrong for them, or it may be right. But to answer the question, it wasn't one guy. It wasn't one person that I could say that really just made me to the person that I am today. It
sounds though that like your like inherent ability to like pick up on people and be watching them and stuff like that really came in handy with making you whole, because it's so easy to not feel whole when you have the loss of a parent for any reason in your life. And I think it's easy to get stuck there. It's easy to get stuck in the loss. It's easy to get stuck in the abandonment. It's easy to get stuck in the what you didn't have, what you didn't see, who wasn't there for you. So there is like a strength of character that comes in. And again, maybe that's just how, thank goodness, another thing to be grateful for, that you were made. And maybe it's because your mom was conscious of who she put in your plate, but it worked.
Yeah. And it
worked.
And the only thing that I feel responsible for now is to pass that on to other people. Like, hey man, this is what I did. This is how I did it. This is my experience. And hopefully you do the same kind of thing that I did. Just take it. Use me. I forgot who said it, but I always like to pick up phrases. I pick up phrases. So I say, if I can't be used, then I'm useless. So use me, just don't misuse me. Yeah. So that's kind of my motto.
I like that.
Yeah, that's kind of my motto. I want to be used. I want to be the person that you come to and say, hey, Dante, do you know somebody who this? Can you do this? Or I love that. I love being able to give to people and be like, okay, yeah, go over here and do that. That's the person that you need to talk to. Go over here and do this. I like to do that. I want to be used. I think all of us inherently wants to be that person for other people. I don't know. And I think once you give back, you feel a lot better too. Just your spirit feels full when you're able to give somebody either a contact or being able to help somebody. It feels so damn good.
Yeah.
It feels so good because it's not
So
for
true.
us.
Well, and I think, somehow along the way when we go after our careers or however we end up being, it always starts out from a monetary perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much money are you going to make? How are you going to make money? How are you going to sustain? And we get on that hamster wheel of life, But purpose is really what it's about.
Yes.
I have never, when a closing day happens and things like that, that isn't my favorite part of a real estate transaction. My favorite part of a real estate transaction is when my client feels like they got the house of their dreams. It's that day when, that they get it and it's theirs and it's everything they want for their family. That's what it is, right? It isn't, listen, we need money to survive. It makes the world go round, but it is not what it's about. It is all about, like you said, like, what can I give? What can I lend onto this earth? And how can I just include and add more purpose into my life and to those that I get to serve? Mm-hmm. It took me a long time to figure that one out. Like, I don't think I'm not naturally inclined that way, but it took me a long time to separate the two and say, this is who I am, not this. Did you ever, did you get mixed up in all that? Did you follow the money at certain points of your life?
Oh, yeah.
And when,
Oh yeah. Plenty of times. I've chased the money in so many different jobs, so many things that I didn't necessarily want to do. And after I got the money, I still felt so cheap because it was like, I didn't want to do this. I hated this. Yeah. And I can tell you now, Carrie, doing my podcast, is where I just feel I'm not chasing the money and I'm getting so many more rewards, or I'm getting rewarded in so many different ways that the money to me, it's not even significant. You know what I mean? It's not even just being able to interact with different people. That's the best part. And I don't know if I'm necessarily following my purpose, but I feel just so relieved and so giving people a platform to be able to speak their mind. It's a wonderful feeling, and it has no monetary value on that. And I feed off that. I love that. And this podcasting, I'm glad they even came. I don't, how long has podcasting been out? About 5 years, maybe?
I think it's been way longer, but nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
And they still say, we're addicted to it, obviously, but they still say that it's got a long way to go. So I guess, we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just so glad that they even came up with it, or with this whole form is just so rewarding. I feel like, okay, now I've fallen into my purpose. I've fallen into what I'm supposed to be doing. And it wasn't all these other little things that I've done before. Is man. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I feel that so strong. I totally see that in your eyes. I hope you never lose that, because that is really what we're all chasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right there, what you just felt, that. Like, I hope you hold on to that so strong.
Yeah.
And never let it go. And that it gives you everything that you deserve in life. I felt that. Do you have okay, this is I hate to ask this, and if it's we'll go astray if this is not a good question right now.
Oh, all of them are good questions.
Well, okay, but it's sort of a little bit in contrary to what we just were talking about, because we're talking about purpose and feeling something so strong. And now I'm going to ask you, do you have an ultimate goal? Do you know where you want to go with it? Are you just letting it lead you? Talk to me about what is the future for Tap In?
So before I even started one episode, right? One of my favorite artists, rappers, is Nipsey Hussle. He said what he used to do is write down everything that he wanted to accomplish before he even started. So I just emulated the same thing. Before I even did one podcast, I wrote everything out that I wanted to accomplish, right? And I wish I had my notes here. But to answer your question, my ultimate goal that I wrote down is I want to buy a commercial building. I want to have a studio that I can do this podcasting in the studio. I want to have a music studio. I want to have a news anchor thing to just produce content constantly all day, every day. That's my goal. That's what I want to do. I want to make $1 million. I want to make $100,000. I want to have a website. I want to buy my mics, to the very tiny details. I wrote everything down about what I wanted to accomplish. And my ultimate goal is just to be doing content, just from out of my building, just producing content, whether it's having 3 or 4 guests coming that day, and I'm just doing interviews every single day. That's my ultimate goal. That's what I want to do. And what's so to kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier, I have no idea how I'm going to get the money for it, but I'm looking at a building that I'm I want this building right here.
Do you know which one it is?
I will give the address on here, but
No.
I'm not.
No.
But I know exactly it's an abandoned building right near where my house is, and I'm gonna get that building and I'm gonna turn it into a whole studio, do what I want to do with it, and then just have my content where I'm just producing content all day, every day. That's it. Yep, and that's gonna be my job. It's gonna be my career. That's it.
Do you think you'll bring comedy back in any of that?
I don't think comedy's ever gonna be left out. Would I perform stand up again? Possibly. I'm never gonna rule that out because I love performing. I love performing. I love making people laugh. I love having that interaction because it's nothing like you doing something or saying something, making somebody just laugh out loud, and you have a little quick eye contact. Is nothing like that because I don't know. Laughter is healing. It's like a medicine. So
The ultimate medicine, actually.
Yeah. So I'm never gonna rule that out. Yeah, I'm never gonna rule that out.
Yeah, I'm picturing you doing your comedy content and then doing your interviews, and the world of Dante just comes out, and it's every piece of you just just meshes together in this studio.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Of course it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it will. Do you feel okay? And I'm gonna ask this and tread this lightly, but I'm gonna ask it, and then if it's inappropriate, you're gonna tell me. Do you feel that the Black culture is does not have the platform that it needs to have? And do you think that you can help to serve your culture? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
I don't think we have the platforms. I think we need more platforms and larger platforms to be able to speak to our culture and things that are going on. I do want to be one of those people who actually build that platform to have people come in and talk and be able to get those issues out. But to answer the question, I don't think we have enough large platforms to really speak to the masses. No.
Yeah. I mean, I see that right now, and there's so much drama going on for all of our cultures, and I guess I'm like attuned to it, especially right now. But yeah, I mean, I see that there's opportunity for that for sure.
Yes, and it's like, I don't know what is like. It was a narrative that, or at least I hear around that people don't support black issues or black things, and I'm like, I don't see that. Like, I don't see that because I feel like anytime there's a issue, it seems like everybody's getting involved and everybody is like, what's going on? This is happening. I'm like, I feel like here's what I'll say. I feel like when it comes to, I guess, cool or kind of like what's known as hip or whatever, it all stems from black culture. I feel like everything stems from that black culture. So I'm like, people support it, people love it, but I don't know where this narrative comes from that people don't support certain black things or black stuff. So, yeah.
That is a whole other subject.
Yeah.
But I'm just and the only reason I went there because I try to, I try to be super respectful, and I don't want to bring anything up that's gonna like offend. No. But like, I feel like there's so much that we can offer onto the people that we connect to, and I think you could probably connect to anybody that breathes and walks on this planet, and there's probably no color in your eyes, but I do see that I don't know, I could totally see this like urban culture thing coming out of here. That's what talking about cool, I see all the cool stuff coming out of there, so I just wondered if that was in your plans. That's all.
I mean, I'm and see, here's the thing, I'm so connected with black culture. I also like venturing out to find out other people's culture. Yeah. Like I want to know. I don't want to be just so tunnel vision on just black culture, because then you're not cultured. And so I want to find out everything. Like, what's going on over here? How were you raised? Like, I want to find out from everywhere, and then I compare to black culture or how I was raised, and just see the differences. And everybody is. I don't want to say surviving, but there is good in every culture. So I want to hear about it all. So that way, if I need to implement something in my own life that hey, this is the way we do it. Yeah, this is the way Spanish, Japanese, white, whatever, this is how they do it, but I'm going to implement it into my life too. So I want to hear it all. I want to be in everything. I want to know why did you guys do this? Why did they have this? Like, I just want to know.
I feel like if we were all, as a society, more open that way, we'd have a lot less issue, wouldn't we?
Yes.
If we could just see each other and just hear each other and, understand instead of, and again, it's fear-based, right? You're afraid of what you don't know. You're afraid of what you don't think you connect to. And so we don't talk and we don't have these conversations. And hate is born somehow along the way out of it, and it's just such a waste of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like we're on this earth for a few years, and we're going to waste it just hating each other. Is that the way it's going to go down?
Yeah. Oprah Winfrey
absurd.
said, "We are more alike than we are not alike."
100%.
So
Yeah. We're all, it's like what you said that Will Smith said. We're all on our own journey trying to figure it out, and nobody knows anything.
Right.
And yet everybo's got something to say. It's like,
yes.
what gives,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
did that come from?
Yeah.
It's so interesting. So you are a family man. I got to see some pictures. John was showing me some pictures of your beautiful family.
Yeah.
Talk about what it's like to have a little baby girl in this world. And
Oh man.
how old is she? She looks pretty.
She'll be
pretty
one.
baby. Oh yeah, she's a little baby. Is
June
she sleeping?
10th.
Is she sleeping through the night?
Yes, finally.
Woo!
Yes, finally.
Yeah.
She is just a bundle of joy, man. I just love that girl so much.
She's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. She is it like, even if I'm having a bad day or something, she could just come and scratch my face or just slap me in the face, and it's just like, I just love this kid so much. My little Kobe. Her name is Kobe. We named her after Kobe Bryant.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we named her
I
after
didn't
Kobe.
even think about that when you said that. Of course you did.
Yeah, we named her after Kobe Bryant. Instead of the E, we put an I for her because she's a little girl. I just love that little girl so much. It's just sickening how much I love her.
Oh no, that joy is like hitting me in the face right now. I mean, it's like it just takes over.
Yeah.
It's talk about being like a parent. Like, how has it changed you? What have you learned? What do you continue to learn? Because you got baby at home, but mine are grown.
It's not about me. And I think more so anything for me is prioritizing my life. That's having children. It has, because before it was just, okay, Dante, what do I need to do? What do I need to do for me? I need to take care of this. I need to take care of that. But now it's, okay, is the baby okay? Does the baby need to eat? Does the baby need to do this? Okay. All right. Everybody's good. All right. Then Dante comes in. Once I get everybody else taken care of and
He's
situated.
tired.
Yes.
He can barely walk.
Yeah. It just prioritize everything. And then having my own family is just weird. Sometimes I look at my wife and I'm like, they let us have this? Like somebody gave us a family? Like, who's responsible for this? I'm just like, cause I met my wife when I met her when I was 22, 23.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I met her, me and my college buddy, he was from here, and I was from California. Well, I was from California. I mean, I'm from California. And so we were on a spring break. It was a short little break. So he was like, man, just come home with me. And we were in Houston. I said, oh, okay, yeah. I came up here from Houston. We were at the mall, and another girl that went to our school was with her. And we met in the mall. We hung out all day. And that was 2004. And we hung out a little bit. I went back to California. And then, 7 years ago, we just like, you know what? Let's see what happens. We've been staying in touch this whole time. So
Like on Facebook or something?
Facebook, MySpace.
Stop it.
Call on the phone, talk on the phone every now and then.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then.
So you both you went on your own journeys and then you came back together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we've been married 3 years now.
Oh, it's new. You're still newlyweds.
Yeah.
You still get to call yourself a newlywed.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah.
That's still light in today's world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 years. We've been together 6 years. It's been weird though, because I guess I see my wife as my friend first.
Yeah.
And then my wife.
Yeah.
And I guess the weird part for me is she wants me to see her as her wife first and the friends second. And so but that's like my best friend. Like,
I love that.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was looking for in a wife, is a good friend. A good friend I can talk to, talk about whatever. And now I guess that's the weird part, is having a family with your friend, your best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's like what's going to stand the test of time,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because the looks are going to fade.
Yeah.
The bags are going to develop under your eyes more and more.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you still got to like each other.
Yes. You got any, how long have you been married?
So I'm in my second marriage.
Okay.
I was married for 10 years to my first husband, and I have been married to Neil for 6 years. And we have 5 kids together.
Okay. You got any advice? What would you say the secret to marriage is?
Partnership. Like really understanding what that person, because we all need, you said this in your own way, like we all need something different. Like, they talk about the love languages, and I really actually believe in that what we need from somebody is what you need and what your wife need are not the same.
Right.
And so understanding what it is that she needs. Like I heard when you said she wants me to treat her like her wife, my wife. I don't know what that means, but she does, right?
Yeah.
And so understanding like, okay, you want me to see you as my wife first, which means these things, and giving her that, and vice versa. She knowing that, hey, you need a best friend, and so she's gonna be your boy sometime. You know what I mean? And I think that is, my husband has really he's got my back, and I have always been the girl that has everybody else's back, and don't have many people that have had I have great parents. Don't get me wrong, but I'm always the leader, and I run the company, and people rely upon me, and I'm tapped out.
Good one.
I'm tapped out, and he keeps me level, right? So that to me, it's there's nothing more important. It's that partnership. So I think that's huge. And I think, talking about Oprah, and I have this one saying, and it's the reason for being for me, is she said that, what she's learned is everybody wants the same things. They want to be seen, heard, and know they matter, feel validated, right? I believe that is the case with every single relationship that we have. So even as parents, you're gonna screw it up. I mean, it's an impossible job. You said, who gave this to me? No shit. Who gave this to any of us? Yeah. Did they know who I was? And we get these kids, and it's woo, and you give up all yourself for them and all that. But I think, my daughter just graduated from high school on Sunday. And, so I think about her as a 1-year-old baby and how grown up she is. And there were times I didn't think I'd make it. I mean, I was I don't know how this kid's going to turn out. It's not looking good.
Yeah.
Please God, please God, please God. Yeah. Please help me out. I don't know if I have the skills. I did all of that. There were some terrifying times in our lives that were just scary. My kids lost their father when they were young, and I didn't know how I was going to heal them through that, right? And the guilt and all these things. And I think I realized the other day, but I always saw my kids. When they call, I answer the phone. Even if I can't talk, I cannot talk right now, but I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye. And it's probably not always the best advice, by the way, but I always say goodnight. Always. I never, ever go to bed without saying goodnight to my children. And I feel those consistencies, even though I have screwed up a lot of stuff, I'm sure along the way, helped them turn out where they were self-sufficient and normal. So
normal.
Please go. Please make sure I do it right. Yeah. But so that's my advice is I think we're supposed to see people, but you obviously naturally do, or you wouldn't be in love with the mic. And that's the way I look at it. Because I think this takes a certain individual. I don't think everybody wants to sit there and talk all day.
Yeah.
But the ones that do are I get you. You had me at hello. All of that. It's just you get it. But not everybody wants to do that.
Yeah. And I know what I find out is a lot of people have a lot to say. But as soon as you put a mic in front of their face, they're like, yeah. I'm yeah, so I don't want they don't really want to be forthcoming. So
because now you got to know the real me,
mm-hmm.
and the real me and the fake me are totally different people.
Right.
I'm not prepared for this.
Right.
That's funny. I'm actually more inclined, and I wonder how you do your interviews. I actually asked John about this. Like, do you usually come in with, here's my list of questions, or do you flow? Like, how and why? So
my method is, the way my brain works is I have to have a, I don't know if it's like a list, but I have to have some structure.
Like a roadmap.
Yeah, I have to have a structure, and I could veer off the roadmap if I choose to, if I'm, if it's a good conversation, but I want to be able to come back if I veer off to be able to still move the conversation on. Mm-hmm. And that way I know where I'm going and I know what kind of questions I'm asking because I know what I want to pull out of the conversation. Mm. So I usually come in and just throughout the week, I'll just be like, oh, I want to know that. I want to ask that. So I'll put that down and I'll have a list of questions. And then while we're talking, whatever they say, it may trigger a question. So I'll just throw that in and dig into that a little bit. But I always have my list.
You always come back to that roadmap.
Right. Yeah.
How much do you pay attention to like your audience and what they're seeking versus your guest and what they need to say? And like, how do you like leverage those two details? Like this is, we're talking to you. And so you probably want to learn this lesson. And yet my guest has these things to say. How do you build that in? 'Cause I think that's hard.
Yeah. So here's what my thing is. This is where I look at the people who watch my content. Those people don't know what they want to see until they actually see it.
I love that.
Yeah, they don't know
that
what. That
takes some of the load off, doesn't it? You don't know what you want. I'm going to show it to you.
They don't know what they want to see until you show it.
Yeah.
And so I'm always interested in different things. And so I always kind of like throwing curveballs. Like on my show, I've had in the last couple of months, I've had all people who've been like in prison and went through that whole thing. But now I'm going to go to another girl who's an entrepreneur, college student, who's running 2 businesses. And those people who are interested in the prison stories are now going to get some of this education from that. But I don't think everybody even notices that's what I'm doing, but I always like to throw a wrench in it. If I get a lot of music artists, I'll throw in something else. I just want to mix the whole pot of different things because my audience, I know what they'll tune into, so I'll bring them in, but then once I got you in, now I'm going to hit you with the educational and how do you do this and how do you do that? And I pay attention to what people are watching, but I don't let that kind of steer what kind of guest I get because I want a whole melting pot of different people from all walks of life. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
It's back to your conversation earlier, though, about wanting to know a little bit about this culture and a little bit about that culture. I mean, you're obviously just very interested in humans.
Yes.
Just as they are.
Yeah, I can sit on a park bench and just watch people all day long. And me and my wife used to do this thing where we see 2 people walking and we'll just play out a conversation of who we think they are to each other, and we'll just have this whole conversation. I can do that all day long, and just be in heaven. Yeah. But yeah, I just love watching people or understanding people or just talking to people.
How do you feel, or do you get disappointed in people? Because some of us that really I love people too. Mm-hmm. And I'm always so like upset when I'm disappointed. I don't want to be disappointed in people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I just want to love on them.
Right.
But inevitably, people are people.
Yeah.
And we're not perfect on any of us.
Right. What I found is most of the time when I'm disappointed in somebody, it's a lot of times it's because I want them to do something and they're not doing what I wanted them to do or when I want them to do it. And So a lot of times when I am disappointed, I kind of have to just step back and say, okay, this is what I wanted. This is what they wanted to do. So let me pull what I wanted off of that. And then slowly but surely my disappointment was like, Dante, just like people want you to do things and you can't do them, like don't beat them up or don't be disappointed in them. They just couldn't. Or a lot of people are not going to do the same things that you're going to do. Because I know I'm a stickler for time. I'm a stickler for, hey, man, we say we're going to do this. This is what we're going to do. Like, I don't want to veer off. If you veer off, tell me you can veer off. If you don't, I'm like, what is it? What? Like, what's going on? Because I like to communicate, especially when working with somebody. I like to communicate. I want everybody to be in the know what's going on. And a lot of people just don't function that way.
Right.
So I have to pull out like, okay, this is the way I operate. That's not them. So just pull back what your expectations are, what I would expect somebody else to do, and just give them the grace that I would want somebody to give me if I mess up or if I disappoint somebody.
Gosh, that's really good advice. That actually takes a lot of pressure off. And it forces you to think about it differently, because that's a very valid point that people will disappoint you because you had some sort of expectation. Mm-hmm. But who were you to put that? You're the one that put the expectation on.
Right. And they never
better take some responsibility there for that. Yeah.
They never said, or sometimes they may say, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I am gonna do that," and then sometimes they just don't. Mm-hmm. And then you like, well, why don't you just tell me if you can't do? But a lot of people just don't operate that. Yeah. And you just have to accept them at where they're at. And you know what? It's all right. It's fine. I'll figure it out.
I guess empathy is our best friend, right?
Yeah.
Empathy.
Yeah.
How far ahead do you schedule? Are you like?
I try to do like a month in advance.
A month out?
Yeah. I try to schedule.
And do you
like
just pick the phone up and call and say, "Hey, this is who I am"? Like, how did you get started in getting your guests to even be interested?
So what I would do is I would just go on Instagram, look at someone's page. If they in the very beginning, this is what I would do. I would go on someone's Instagram page, and if they had consistently the same kind of content on there, that shows me that they're passionate about whatever it is. And then I'll reach out to them, hey, can you come on and talk about whatever it is that they're passionate about? And then they're like, oh yeah, I want to talk about this. I've been dying to tell somebody else about this. And so that's what I would start just doing over and over and over. And you'll be surprised by just asking people, hey, would you want to come on and share your story or talk about whatever you're interested in? Some people be like, yes. A lot of people don't realize by just asking, you can get a lot of something that, you know what I mean? You can get a lot of things from people that you may even thought they would have. Because a lot of people are passionate about things, but they don't have an outlet to kind of express that.
Right.
So that's where I come in, where I'm like, hey, I want you to come in with all your passion, all your knowledge. I want you to come in with all of that and tell my audience about it. Introduce us to this. Why is this so important to you? So that's what I've done, and that's why I love.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Ask and you shall receive. Isn't that what they say?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's probably true. And even with me, because I get nervous, which I know is like hard to believe, but I do. I don't like asking for things. I like giving things.
Yeah, none of us do.
I don't like asking for things. So none of us do. I love to hear that. So the problem is because none of us love asking for things, they're probably not being asked that much, right? Like you think they're like something big, but like they're not being asked as much as you might think.
Yeah.
They don't get to tell their story.
Right. And even if you feel like the person is super important and super busy, if you ask them, hey, this is what I'm doing, I would love for you to be a part of it, blah, blah, blah. A lot of times they would be like, I can't do it this time, but I can do it here. Or, if you come genuine to them, a lot of times they may tell you no to, but majority of the times if you come with, hey man, this is what I'm doing, a lot of times you'll get with people that you wouldn't even think that would even be interested in coming and sit down with you.
That's so great to hear. That gives me hope.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else before we depart that you want to share? I mean, anything else that we didn't cover that you think is important to know about Tap In, or why people should tap in?
I think
I love that name.
Thank you. I think people should tap in because my show it's not a one-dimensional show. So we tap into spirituality, we tap into emotions, we tap into just the physical world, and a lot of what I tried to pull out is get information from people from all walks of life, and I want people that are watching the show to get something from it. So I want them to, when you tapping in, it's not just into the show, it's the information that's coming out of the show, what I really want you to get. And so that's why you should tap in, because you never know what kind of information or what something is going to trigger you from our guests that you may be able to use in your life from that point on. So
I love that.
Yeah.
When do they tap in? When do you release the shows?
So every Tuesday on the audio side at 9 a.m. in the morning on all streaming platforms, everywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us there. And then throughout the week, I just upload like clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been catching some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
You got the voice.
Thank you.
And the spirit and the soul and every single thing that you need to produce an amazing show and really affect people.
Thank you so much.
I'm so glad to know you.
Yeah. We have to stay tapped in too.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
All right. I don't know how we're going to close this, but thank you for joining us.
Yes. And something I got, are we still rolling?
Yeah, he's probably still rolling.
Oh, okay.
He never stops.
Oh, okay. Something I got from you last time that I did your show when we had the round table.
Yeah.
I started using it in my podcast. On the end of the show, I always leave people with, hey, the getting is in the giving. Mm-hmm. And because I always hear people like have little taglines or things that they say to like just leave people with. And I don't know where I picked that up or who said it or what happened in that moment, but I started using that tagline on the podcast. The getting is in the giving.
Yeah, we touched on that again today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I believe that. I believe that about you. That's a really good tagline.
Yeah.
I believe that about you wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dallas. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Dallas Culture Club podcast. We know you have a million ways to spend your time, and we are thrilled to have you here with us. We'd love to connect with you. Go to dallascultureclub.com and sign up to join the club. Be the first to receive our latest episodes, invitations to roundtable talks and events, and connect with other local purpose-driven individuals. Go to dallascultureclub.com and join the club today.